Hi, welcome to Mission Driven Monday. My name is Chantel Adams, and I'm here with my friend Noel Holland. Noel is a professional actor, writer, performer, educator. She and her husband founded the Atlantic Coast Theater in Orlando, Florida, where they entertain children and families and just do all kinds of interesting things around the Orlando area. Well, really around the country, but they're primarily based in Orlando. I first saw Noel 3, 4 maybe years ago. She was up here in Atlanta at Reinhardt University doing a show, and I took my kids to see her. They had a great time. It was educational. It was entertaining. They fostered a discussion afterwards, and they had just a great time of camaraderie after the show. It was really fun. So thanks, Noel, for being here. We're so happy to have you.
Thank you so much, Chantel. I'm glad to be here.
Thanks. Well, every week we ask the same 3 questions. These questions are wonderful because I feel like we get to hear from women who are in different seasons of life, who live in different parts of the country, who have different experiences. And I think that the wisdom that we bring to each other is something that needs to be shared. So I'm happy to have you today. And we're going to dive right in. Are you ready?
Let's do it.
Okay. Noel, I want you to tell me about what you're most proud of.
Okay, so when I was thinking about this question, there were several things that I thought about. I first thought about if we had this interview when I was in my 20s, I would have told you that I was most proud of what I've accomplished in my career, and that I would have told you that all of the things that I have accomplished by going to college and majoring in music and using the gifts that I was given to try to make a difference in the world.
Right.
That would have been my answer. I would have easily told you that. But with my life experiences now, my answer is different. And even though I am still so proud of everything that I've accomplished as a professional performer and owning my own business and truly trying to make a difference. Nothing in my life compares now to me being the proudest of my resiliency after the death of my sister.
Oh, wow.
So nothing else compares.
How long ago was it that your sister died?
My sister died 11 years ago from stage 4 cancer. And from the time of diagnosis until she died, we had 1.5 years. And that was it. And she was only 29 when she died. And what I am so proud of is, number one, my sister and I were very, very, very close. And I am proud of that because not everybody has that.
Right.
And we were very, very different from one another always. We're both interested in the arts and all of that. But we were different personalities. I was much more even keel, and Meredith was much more just like, she was funnier, and she was all of these kinds of things that I was just more even keel. She was she brought a vibrancy to things, and she was pretty amazing. And it was great because I always say that when you're a child, and I was 4 years older than her, and she was like the first person that I had to learn to love. Because my parents, I always loved them. Like, I don't remember a time that I did not love my parents. And it wasn't that I did not love Meredith, because I did, even as a child, even before she was born.
Right.
But I had to learn to live with her and learn that in my household, there were these 2 siblings who were very different from one another, and we learned to live together. And just like normal siblings, we did all the, typical things and arguing about things, and Meredith would get in my stuff and all of that. But it was interesting because when I went off to college, Meredith always said that she felt like our lives kind of came together because our life experiences were similar. When I was in high school, she wasn't understanding that I was dating and doing all of that. She just didn't understand it. But when she got into that, and then I left and went to college, all that was left was just this bond of love. And we didn't fight anymore. It was just like, we just had this bond. So I always felt like that was something that everybody who knew me as an adult knew, that I was close to my sister. That was just part of the given. But when she got sick, it was very difficult because it was a shock to everyone, her, all of us. And I was so thankful that we were so close, because I became very important in that process of her cancer. And we spent a lot of time together. I mean, with my theater, we were rehearsing shows in my sister's backyard.
Well, I actually remember when she was sick. And one thing I didn't mention during the introduction is that Noel and I actually know each other from high school. So I've known Noel for a long time. And I remember when she got sick, and I think that you had a Caring Bridge site set up for her that you updated and that I read regularly. And it was really beautiful for you to sort of document what was happening,
it was a good thing for her, because I knew about Caring Bridge because one of my friends from college had set one up for her son, and I believe that was the first time that I heard about it. And I told my sister about it, and first she was like, no. And then I was like, it might be a way for you to talk about it.
Right.
Yeah, it was a great way for her to be able to converse about what was going on with her.
Right.
And it was a good way for me after her passing to send out information.
Sure.
So it was a real blessing in our life. I think that during the whole fight that we had that year and a half, it was hard. It was hard on her. It was hard on all of us as a family, and for her husband, parents, for me, it was hard, and especially for her,
right?
And because she was facing so much. But she was such a fighter. She was just, she talk about resiliency. She was fighting it the whole time. She kept on teaching. When she couldn't teach anymore, she decided to go get her doctorate.
Oh gosh.
Cancer, and it was, and of course she couldn't finish that out because she got sicker. But she was fighting it, and
she was all in
with her as a family.
Yeah.
Again, if you had asked me in my 20s, I would have told you my job, the things that I was doing in my job. But that last month of her life, I gave up my job. And John, my husband, who I own the theater with, he did either one-man shows of our booked shows, or our presenters actually rescheduled for a time that we both could be there. So I just told Dawn, I was like, I have to be with her full time. And so I was. But when she died, I was broken. I was completely broken. And we all were brokenhearted. And I had never experienced tragic grief before. And there's a difference between what's in the circle of life and tragic grief. There's a difference. It's not that they are all not valid. They are all valid. But there's just differences in what you deal with when you deal with tragedy and you deal with something that's not in the circle of life. And pretty much I just cocooned myself. I cocooned myself with my family. I immediately went back to work and started cocooning myself in work and with my husband, and then a few close friends who I was able to put in my little cocoon. And but it was interesting because we, as a family, all of us have shown massive resilience in the face of tragedy. And I think that for me, because we all deal with grief in a different way, for me, I decided in my life that, and I use this analogy often, that my grief was the dragon. And it was how I dealt with the dragon.
Right.
And that I could have hid from the dragon.
Mm-hmm.
And if you hide from the dragon's going to find you and going to burn you no matter what. Even if you hide, they're going to find you. So that's what happens if you hide. If you pretend like the dragon is not there and just be oblivious to it, the dragon's going to laugh at you and then burn you. And you're still going to be burned.
Right.
And if you choose to fight the dragon, then you're still going to get burned. You're still going to get burned. It's funny, but you know that you have fought it and that you have faced it eye to eye and that you have fought it. And that's what I chose to do with my grief, because I knew that my sister was a fighter and that she would want me to fight and to look that dragon in the eye and to go through it, not pretend like it's not there.
Right.
But to go through it. And I think that for myself, I am still broken. I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, but I am forged through fire and strong because I have chosen to take my grief and still find joy. In spite of it.
Right. And I've seen you do that. And I know that your sister's death was a very pivotal circumstance in your life. So I'm glad that you talked about that, because I think that those are the things that shape our lives, right?
They are. And the thing is that it has focused so much in my life. It has focused how I deal with interpersonal relationships. It has focused how I deal in my job. It has focused how I focus on trying to figure out what is important. Yes. And last but not least is that what I'm so proud of is that I try so hard to make my life now, these minutes or moments, whatever I've got left.
Right.
I try to think about what I can do in my life to honor my sister and to honor what she would want from me.
Yeah.
To carry on her legacy.
Right. Right.
And to be a person who, again, is resilient.
Yeah.
But is not, I don't wear rose-colored glasses.
But you truly are, I think, a beacon of light for so many people. And it's been interesting to see how you've evolved, I guess, for lack of a better word, over the last few years. Yeah. So going from, what you went through with your sister to where you are today, can you tell me a little bit about what you're learning right now in this season?
In this season of my life, in my mid-40s, I feel like, for me, again, because I kind of have, again, shaped into who I am today because of the experiences that I've had. What I am learning personally is that not only do I have this, mission to try to do good, but sometimes, you think about somebody who is a Renaissance person who is interested in a lot of different things. And this is the same way I was in high school. I was interested in a lot of different things. Yeah. And I think that is a very admirable trait. But the problem with that, with being a Renaissance person, is that it's kind of like also that phrase of that you're good at several things, but you're a master of none.
Oh, yeah.
So I think for myself that what I have, and I've known this my entire life. I've always lived in my own little tree and always been a creative person. Is that I'm trying so hard to learn to be more mindful of my time, because again, I'm interested in a lot of different things. I can put my hands into all kinds of different pies, and because I not only act and sing, I make glass and I make brooms, and I do a lot of different creative.
Yeah, you do.
But I want to be mindful of my time, that I'm using my time well. And so I have tried, and it is very difficult for me because my brain goes a million miles a minute, and I am trying to learn how to be more mindful of the time that I have. And I don't think I'm ever going to be a super focused, super just driven kind of person. I think I'm always going to be, a little just not a space cadet,
but you know what? The great thing I think about people like you, and I feel like I'm like this too. I mean, I love learning new things. I love trying new things. We're never bored.
No.
Never. So, I love that about you. And it's one of the things I love about myself. I'm never bored. It's great.
But again, I want to learn in my life and try to better myself in this not always just being out there, just trying to sometimes say, okay, I'm really good at this, but I could focus more and be better.
Right.
And
good.
So I think I am trying to be more mindful of my time. Again, just knowing that time is limited on this earth, and I might as well try to be a little bit more mindful. But at the same time, I'm a good daydreamer, so I don't know.
I think that's it's a great aspiration. Which, speaking of aspirations, that leads us right into our last question, and I want you to tell me about your aspirational self. It's always fun to think about the future, to think about where we want to go. And like you just said, like you're interested in so many things, and there's so many things that you can dip your hands into. When you think about the future Noel, who is she? How would you describe her?
I think that if I could pinpoint how I would want people to remember me, is that, again, having people say that, that I was smart, or that I was, a good singer or a good actor. I mean, all of those things are great, but the first thing I would want people to say about me, and say about the legacy that I would leave, is that, number one, that I always tried, and again I say try because it's impossible as human beings, but that I tried to be kind and compassionate, that I tried. And I use both together, because I feel like that compassionate is the being able to try to put yourself into somebody else's shoes, how they are feeling, people who are different from you, people who like you may be from different walks of life, that I try to be compassionate. But then I put kind in there, because that's the action that you do. Kindness is the feelings that you feel inside.
Right.
But the kindness is the action. And my mom always said that, and I love this phrase, that love is an action verb, and that it's about what you do.
Yeah.
And that when you show that in your actions, that is love. That's the action. Yeah. And so I put compassionate and kindness together, because compassionate is feeling those things.
Yeah.
If you keep yourself, then you have not made an action. And so the kindness is the action. So I would hope that people would know that I tried to be compassionate and kind.
Yeah.
And that would be the best thing, if they say nothing else about me.
That would be enough. Well, I think it's really interesting that you said that, because Last week I went to visit this little 95-year-old man that lives close to us, and you had commented on it and said that you have a grandparent that's, the same age. And that was the one thing that he said to us was, when the girls asked him, what advice do you have for us? He said, just do something kind every day. Spend your life doing kind things. He said, because being a good friend is paramount. He said, you're going to need one day. And so spend your life doing kind things.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So I think that would be the thing that I would want most out of everything.
Yeah.
Is somebody to say that I tried to be kind and compassionate.
Oh, I love that.
I think that the second thing that I would like for people to say is that I'm adventurous, that I'm not afraid to try new things. I'm not afraid to be a lifelong learner, and I don't think I'm going to jump out of airplanes, but I don't think so. But that adventuresome in the sense of life, that I love life, and that I want to try to experience it. And that's what makes me adventurous, is not, like I said, being, I'm not going to go, climb Mount Everest.
Yeah. There's other ways to be adventurous.
Yes, there's other ways. But that I was adventurous, and that that I wasn't afraid to kind of go out on a limb. I would love for that to be something said about me. And I think that the last thing that I would like is that people would realize that I try to care about the world, and that our world is beautiful, nature is gorgeous, we're given this amazing gift of this world, and that that I cared about the world and cared about my fellow human beings. I have been so thankful in my life to work with children, and to try to inspire them in our shows, to again be kind,
right,
and to think about the world, and to embrace intelligence, and embrace knowledge, and learning new things, and to laugh and to smile, but that I cared, and that I wanted to make a difference, and that was just part of my mission, is that I can, through the gifts that I've been given in my singing, my acting, my crazy creativity, and all of that instead of just putting it out there and saying, look at me, I'm a singer, that I'm out there trying to make a difference, and then I'm trying that, and that's me caring for the world and caring for its inhabitants.
Well, you're doing it. You absolutely are. And I was so glad to have you here today. You're such a joy, and thank you for spreading joy wherever you go.
That's the last thing that I would want to say, is that no matter what you do in life, no matter what you do, that you can make a difference, you can bring joy, and no matter what happens, all the bad things, in spite of it all,
focus on the joy. Yeah, it's awesome. Thank you, Noel.
Thank you.